So the update is finally here, the last one of the entire game cycle, and today I'm going to bring you Pep's 3-2-4-1. This tactic actually went over 50 games unbeaten, 54 to be exact, and picked up at best 64% possession. It's an absolute whale of fun to play with. It performs with pretty much any team. You're going to see a mixture of teams in this video. Let's go right into it, but firstly, be sure to leave a like, it helps out the video massively. If you want to show some love, you can also subscribe to the channel. But let's get into it and go over the results first. So first up, we'll get the team out of the way with 110 plus charges. That is going to be Manchester City. Now, with Man City, you are expecting to do quite well because they have got an absolute incredible team. Whether they got that through legit sources or not is to be told, but they'll probably get away with it, who knows. But let's go over and let's go through it. So it is going to be a very comfortable Premier League win. As you can see, Liverpool somewhat competing, but not really, only picking up 81 points in the Premier Division. The Champions League, we also win against Barcelona in 2-1 fashion. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not playing with Barcelona as well, I got a bit bored, so I thought I'd go with a different Spanish team you'll see later in the video. We win the Super Cup here as well, which is going to be in 4-3 fashion over another Spanish team in Sevilla. We actually won that in extra time. The FA Cup, we also win against Tottenham, again in extra time. Clearly a bit of a clutch tactic. The Carabao Cup, we are also going to win in 4-1 fashion, not in extra time on that one. And the Community Shield, we are also going to win in 5-1 fashion against Arsenal. We also do win the Club World Championship, which I believe you'll see in the schedules tab when we go over and sort of display that 54 game unbeaten spree, which obviously I've got to showcase. But the Premier League, we enjoyed a very, very good season. I mean, Haaland, 45 goals, probably to be expected. Bernardo Silva and also Haaland picking up first and second with the highest average rating, and Bernardo Silva topping the assists with 33. Stats-wise, it is going to be the most points per game, probably to be expected. The most goals at 115, the most shots at over 710, the fewest shots against at 213, and most possession coming in at 63%. Now, I will say defensively, we're not bad at all. This is not the best defensive tactic ever because it is quite attacking and it's quite a unique shape being a 3-2-4-1, but it is usable even in the top leagues. If you are playing as a sort of top, I'd say top 7 team upwards, you'll be completely fine. Probably more aimed for the stronger teams as Pep has managed only in his career. But of course, going over to the data hub, it is still going to be very good. Just over 3 goals a game, just under 1 goal a game conceded as well. Over 18.6 shots a match, an 89% pass completion, and close to an 81% tackle win ratio. So that's a lot of goals, good on the ball, quite disciplined. It seems to be ticking all the boxes. And of course, the one real key factor is this run. So the first loss actually is Nottingham Forest, of all teams to take us off this spree. If you scroll up, if you want to count them, feel free to do so. But if we scroll up, it is actually totaling, I believe, unless I've miscounted by 1 or 2, a 54 invincible spree, which is absolutely ridiculous. And if you see here, the Club World Championship final, just to prove it, I know it's not a big fixture, but we did win that. So let's go and watch some highlights. We've got quite a fair few to choose from. I think we've got to pick the biggest fixture, which would be the Champions League final. And we got off to a very good start, to be fair. Kovacic down the left-hand side, into Grealish, into Erling Haaland, who will not miss from there, let's just face it. It's what it's designed for. Barcelona, where credit is due, dig it back into the game. A shocking from Diaz, though, and almost gift a goal, or does gift a goal, to Fernan Torres. But luckily for us, we've got a lot of pressing going on in this team, and Haaland makes them nervous and clutches up. We'll take the UCL. Up next is going to be my local team, Ipswich Town. Felt a little bit bad about the Norwich results, so I thought we'd get them in a video. And to be fair, we have finished where I think we're going to finish in real life. In second place, getting automatic promotion. Not quite winning the entire thing, but getting the real big job done. In terms of the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, it wasn't too pretty, but to be honest, both of the teams got knocked out against, we were never going to beat with a team like Ipswich without making any signings at all. However, Sky Bet Championship-wise, the league table again, we were quite comfortably in second place and definitely competitive for first place, which obviously was going to be Southampton. Moore comes in with 26 goals, and we are also going to pick up the first and second placing when it comes to the ratings, both wide players getting that, which just goes to show how good the wingers are going to be in this system. We finished second and third also with the assists. That is going to be Sarmiento and Wes Burns coming in. And on this occasion, also picking up the most clean sheets, which is quite interesting to see. Most points per game, obviously Southampton are going to have. The most goals, though, is us. So we're going to be outscoring rank 1 opposition. We're going to have the most shots, which is really, really good. Possession-wise, basically first place. Well, not basically, kind of first place, second place with 59%, as there is going to be a lot of people on very similar amounts of possession. Defensively, though, we were really, really good here with 35 conceded and 20 clean sheets. Now, of course, data hub-wise, the first time I'm looking at this as well, it's going to be very good, actually, and not as many goals, but you haven't got Haaland and De Bruyne, so you've got to accept that. 2.26 goals per game, only 0.76 conceded, a great pass completion, a great tackle win ratio, so we're still getting the same factors, we're still having good amount of goals, we're still conceding not that many, we're still really good on the ball, but obviously, it's not going to be as good as Man City, because we don't have a World 11. To watch a last game of the season. It was obviously at Ipswich Town's home, and that is going to be a 4-1 win over Huddersfield. We got off to a great start, to be fair, with Chaplin going through in the 30th minute and rocking it into the top right corner. Burns then goes from a throw-in the 35th minute into Travis, into Twanzebe. That is a very good direct ball from Hutchinson, and Hurst is going to be at the back post to tuck it in. Credit to Huddersfield, though. They do get a goal here, and it is actually quite good play. Very good play, and absolutely just ripped apart our back line. But to be honest with you, it didn't really matter too much because we bounced back minutes after with a set piece of our own, and that is going to be Will Fendon picking up a 3-1 lead, and another set piece completely off guard, and all the people to get a goal, Twanzebe. There's going to be another team he has managed. That is going to be FC Bayern. I say another team, I know he's not managed Ipswich, but another team he actually has managed, and with Bayern we had a very, very good time. As you can see right now, it is going to be the German double. Unfortunately, the Pockle Frankfurt actually did turn up, and they were not easy to play against, so it is only going to be the 2 trophies. The Super Cup, of course, you can see here in 4-0 fashion over RB Leipzig. If you do want to see a Leipzig rebuild, by the way, we do have a rebuild channel. You can check that in the description below, or by searching Daily FM. A little fun fact there. But going over to the Bundesliga table, it was quite one-sided. I mean, we're talking about a 22-point advantage over Leipzig, Dortmund in 3rd place, Stuttgart coming in 4th, Bayer Leverkusen all the way down in 5th. Harry Payne comes in with 30 goals. That's a little joke again. Harry Kane with 30 goals in the season, outscoring everyone quite convincingly. 1st, 2nd and 3rd with the highest average rating, and also assist-wise. So, I mean, really, it was a ridiculous season for us. And speaking of that, that is where the possession comes in. 64%. Now, having more possession than Bayer Leverkusen in this game is actually quite difficult because they play it very, very well. We've come out and absolutely demolished their sort of usual stat line. Fewest conceded we're going to have, and the most clean sheets. But although we've got a lot of the ball, we're not playing boring football because we are having the most shots, the fewest shots against, the most goals, and of course the most points per game. Data hub wise, I imagine is going to be quite good. It is 2.76 goals a game, 0.82 conceded, a great pass completion, a great amount of shots per game at over 17, which is really good considering we're still having good levels of possession, and a great pass completion. And to the tackle win ratio, this tactic's actually really clean when it comes. We're winning a lot of the challenges we're putting in. They beat us in the cup, but they did not beat us in the league, and this is going to be a 3-0 win over Frankfurt, and it was a great bit of play through the middle. Musiala plays it all the way through to Muller, the man who simply does not age by it seems. I don't know how he's still the age he is. He seems like he'd be about 50 by now, and it's him actually again down the right-hand side in the middle into Harry Kane, and this game got wrapped up before half-time. Just before that whistle come in, we're going to lead by 3, which obviously is the end result. Kingsley Coman down the left, in the middle, into an unmarked Kane. And I didn't fancy playing with Barcelona. We've done a lot of tests with Barcelona recently. We've done a Barcelona rebuild, so I switched it up. We went with Real Madrid, and we had a fantastic season. We did win the Spanish Super Cup here in 3-0 fashion over Barcelona. Runners-up in the Spanish Cup against Bilbao, where unfortunately we somehow didn't get the job done in 90 minutes, and they beat us on penalties. But it is what it is, because we absolutely took over the league with 101 points, only losing 3 games, winning 33, and of course drawing the other 2. Joselu comes in with 2nd top goal scorer, or joint first technically, with 21, which I was not expecting, but credit to him. Vinicius with a rank 1, Valverde rank 2, and Bellingham rank 3. The players in this team are absolutely ridiculous. Assist-wise, Vinicius and then Camavinga, and the most clean sheets from Courtois, which tells me we are going to have a very good set of stats here. We are fewest conceded, the most clean sheets, the most dribbles being made. Possession-wise, we're going to be in 3rd place, 1% off the top there with Real Sociedad and Barcelona. The most shots, the most goals, and of course the most points. So not the most possession by 1%, but goal-wise, look at the advantage we had because we absolutely blitzed Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and the other big teams in the league. So that 1% possession, I'm happy to sacrifice for basically an extra 40 goals. Now, of course, going over to the data hub, it is going to be just over 3 goals a game at 3.08, 0.47 conceded. So by far, out of all of the teams, defensively, this is by far the best. Now, I did actually think that was going to be Bayern, but clearly not. Real Madrid have got quite a good defence, and obviously their midfield is ridiculous as well. So it is to be explained. 90% pass completion, a great tackle win ratio, and still ripping over 17 shots a game. So it's not just having the ball, doing useless things with it, we're still getting goals from it, which is great to see. And we put on a bit of a show towards the end of the season in a 6-0 home win, actually, against Celta Vigo. Not a half-bad team over in Spain, but they made to look quite bad in this fixture, as we are going to be 2-0 down just inside of the 21st minute. Luka Modric picks it up on the edge into Brahim Diaz, who, by the way, is criminally underrated in this Real Madrid team. A great finish from him. Alaba steps up, set-piece mastermind into the bottom left-hand corner. Now into the second half, 52 minutes being played. Vinicius Jr. into Modric on the edge, into Camavinga. And again, a player who sometimes goes under the radar a little bit in the Madrid team. What a baller he actually is. And Camavinga again on the ball, speaking of the devil. Rudiger over the top, into Vinicius, in the middle, into Rodrigo. And the great thing about this tactic, guys, is you are going to score short tiki-taka, good pass and style, but you are also going to go more direct when you need to do so, and we're not afraid to get the ball in. Occasionally, you got to do it. But of course, we make these tactics over for the console and the mobile as well. I don't show the mobile in the videos because people weren't too keen on watching it, according to the YouTube watch time. But let's go over to the console version, where again, it is going to be very similar, but not the same, because you do have to make a few tweaks now and then. Again, you can get the mobile and the console tactics over on the Patreon as an exclusive. That is going to be in the description below. But again, on console, we basically replicate what we've done on PC, winning the Champions League, the Super Cup, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Community Shield, and also the Club World Championship. We scored 92 goals, 40 conceded, Erling Haaland with 48 goals, Kevin De Bruyne doing what is to be expected of, getting loads of assists. Data hub-wise, still very, very good, 2.42 goals a game, 1.05 conceded, which isn't that deep considering we are scoring quite a fair few, having a great amount of pass completion, a good amount of tackles being won, and quite a fair few shots per game as well. And very similar, not as much, it averaged around about a 62% possession season in the Premier League. But of course, now for your favourite part of the video, that is going to be the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying yourselves today, please do leave a like on the video, it helps out the channel massively, and subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We've got a whole year of tactics and loads, and definitely get your comments in, because your tactic can be put on the channel as well. Now what I will say is, if you do want to gain access to all three of these tactics, the mobile and the console tactics, you get the tactics early, you get the rebuild files, you get so much more stuff, including access to the giveaway this month, which is £150 on PayPal, and any video game of your choice. That is still going on. You can join the Patreon today and join the other 3,200 people. You can see it on the screen and in the description below. But let's get in and break down Pep's 3-2-4-1. So it is going to be a sweeper keeper on defend to start things off. Now, you can argue this would be a bit more of a supportive sweeper keeper, or even attack with Ederson. He is a bit of a nut job, but in the game that leads to so many errors. So I'm going to do you a favour and not have that bit as realistic as potentially it could be, because it will annoy you when you see Ederson playing as a CDM 24/7. A wide centre-back is going to come in on support, on dribble less and close down less, and that's going to be exactly the same for the left-back as well. In the middle is going to be a ball-playing defender on defend, on tackle harder and mark tighter. I didn't really see the need to have him on cover in this system. It's actually quite defensively sound, with the addition of this half-back who is going to be on defend, on stay wider, tackle harder, mark tighter and dribble less. Very good to have him on stay wider, because he's going to cover that gap, obviously around in this sort of area here, and sometimes did actually act a bit like a fullback when we were defending a counter-attack after we had lost possession. Next to him is going to be a Roman playmaker, on support, on dribble less, moving to the channels, and of course tackle harder. A very two good players in midfield who I wouldn't say change. The only other role you potentially could use in the default system would be a register, but honestly, if you have got a player that can play as a Roman playmaker, I would stick to it because it worked really well. A winger on the right is going to be on support, on cut inside, shoot less often and get further forwards. I really like the addition of shoot less often in this team, because it does have that Pep sort of theme to it, playing it around side to side of the box, waiting for the perfect opportunity. So having that on does work really well, which on the right is why we have pretty much exactly the same on the inverted winger, on support, on shoot less often and close down more. The two players in the middle are both going to be attacking midfield players. On the left is going to be support, on roam from position and move into the channels, and next to him is going to be an attacking midfield player on attack, on quite a fair few custom instructions, more direct, take more risks, shoot more often, roam and move into the channels. Now of course for me that was going to be the KDB, that basically whoever your better attacking midfield player is, have in that position, your not so good one have next to him. And to finish it off, the Erling Haaland of the team is going to be on attack, on dribble more and roam from position. To the team instructions, all based off the custom tiki-taka, on the positive mentality. We're going to go right in with leaving this in the middle. We're going to underlap left and underlap right. We're going to play out from the back while having the directness set to shorter with a slightly higher tempo. Pep actually does play quite aggressive football. It just sometimes doesn't look like that when he has possession, because they are very patient in the build-up, which works really well for him. Now, we can't really deny that. Dribble less is going to be on. Again, it helps pass that ball around the edge of the box, frustrate the opposition, and eventually you are going to get that golden chance. And we're going to have low crosses, and of course, we need work ball into the box on. In transition, they do work hard to get the ball back, so we are going to go with counter press. We're going to leave this blank. We're going to play to anyone across the back line while taking short goal kicks. If you wish to roll the ball out, you can do so. And lastly, and quite a bit to talk about, it is going to be the out of possession. It is going to be the high press and line of engagement. The line, of course, is going to be the Pep Guardiola higher line. We're actually going to set a pressing trap to the inside, and the trigger press is going to be set to more often. Of course, in every video, you are going to get 3 variants, and this one is going to be a slightly more attacking variant for those who are struggling to get a goal, or maybe you're a goal behind, you want to get back into a game, or you're drawing a game and you want to push for the win. So it is very much the same, but a few tweaks make all the difference. The goalkeeper does remain the same, as does the entire back 3 centre-backs, so I won't waste your time today. They are literally going to remain the same. Of course, the Roman playmaker stays in the team on dribble less, move into channels and tackle harder. We then introduce a bit more of an attacker midfield option that is going to be a Volante on support, on tackle harder and mark tighter. Just having that different sort of player role from the halfback to the Volante really makes this team a lot more attacker minded. The inverted winger on the right is going to be set to attack, on roam from position, close down more and tackle harder, and on the left the winger is also now going to be on attack, on cut inside, roam from position and tackle harder. Of course, the one thing you're probably going to notice is the addition of not having shoot less often on, because if we are trying to push for a goal, I don't mind Jack Grealish cutting in from the left and having a shot, because we're trying to push for a goal. It's as simple as that. In a midfield, the attacker midfield player remains exactly the same. The shadow striker replaces the attacker midfield player because he's going to go even further up the pitch and sometimes act as 2 strikers alongside of that advanced forward. The shadow striker is going to be on more direct, shoot more often and roam from position, and the advanced forward is now going to be on attack, dribble more and roam from position. Team instruction wise, it is still going to be the custom tiki-taka on the positive, but in possession there are going to be a few things, so it is going to be fairly wide, underlap left and underlap right while playing out from the back. Shorter, slightly higher, the low crosses and also the work ball into the box is going to remain the same. Dribble less also, but we are now going to be more expressive, so the team is a lot more attacker minded. This does mean you are going to be more rumble at the back, but if you are trying to chase goals, that is to be expected. In transition, we're going to go with counter press. We're still going to have this blank because we're definitely not a counter attacking team. We're going to distribute quickly though on this occasion, just so we can get the ball moving. And lastly, out of possession, it is going to be literally exactly the same as the default variant. So higher, high press, trap inside and more often. Now for a tactic to defend them games out, let's get into it. This is still going to be a 3-2-4-1, but it is going to be more of a box shape. Now, it's very hard to explain because it is basically your 3 here, your 2, your 4, because these both are going to push up, and then your 1. So it might look a little bit different, but it will shape up like a 3-2-4-1 in the game, and this is a lot more possession orientated, and you are going to frustrate anyone you play. So it is going to be a goalkeeper, sweeper keeper on defend. The back line actually remains unchanged again because we didn't really need to faff about with it or worry about it because they just done their job in pretty much all 3 of the tactics. The halfback comes back in on defend, on stay wider, tackle harder and mark tighter, and the DM comes in on support, on dribble less, tackle harder and mark tighter. These 2 here have to be very defensive minded because these 2 aren't. So the central midfield player on the right is going to be on support, on get further forwards, roam from position, move into the channels and tackle harder. So he is eventually going to end up in this area here, and as you can imagine, the Mazzala is also going to do that, so it is going to go back to being your 3-2-4-1. But initially, from the kickoff, it's going to shape up a bit like a box. So the Mazzala is going to be on support, and as you can see, he's going to get further forwards by default. So that's all we need. We do not need any more custom instructions. The winger on the left is going to be on support, on cut inside, shoot less often, and get further forwards. And on the right, the inverted winger is going to be on support, on shoot less often, and close down more. And we can't change the striker because we still want someone who is going to be a real big goal threat, and he gets the goals, no point changing. An advanced forward on attack, on dribble more, and of course roam from position. Now, team instructions is still based off a custom tiki-taka. The mentality though is going to go all the way down to balanced. So not positive, down to balanced. In possession is going to be standard. We're still going to underlap left and underlap right while playing out from the back, but the directness is now going to go all the way down to much shorter. The tempo is going to go down to slightly lower because we are now going down a real possession-based game. You're not going to score as many goals, being honest, but you are going to have a lot more of the ball and also naturally concede less because you are going to have a lot of possession. We're going to dribble less, work ball into the box, and have the low crosses. Nothing changes there. In transition, it's going to be counter press. We are now going to hold shape because I want them to literally to hold the ball. Pass it side to side. There's no real urgency. We're trying to obviously defend a game out. Don't stress it too much. Hence why we're also going to slow the pace down while playing to anyone across the back line. Of course, taking short goal kicks. Again, you can use roll it out if you would rather, for whatever reason that is. Out of possession, it is going to remain pretty much the same. Higher, high press, trap inside and standard. And that's going to give you, boys, 3 variants of the PEP 3241. A default one you should take into your games 90% of the time, an attacking variant, and a box variant, which is to defend the game or to be used with sort of like an underdog team. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like. It is completely free, and subscribe and turn on notifications. Keep the comments coming down below. Again, if you're interested in the Patreon, there's an absolute ton of stuff going on. You can go and check that out in the description. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.